I want to go back to my train of thoughts on Zahran Mamdani being a Shia Muslim and why I'm getting so much DMs about this. Whether or not he's a Shia Muslim or not, in this case, doesn't matter. But when we're considering his capacity to perform his duty as a mayor of New York City in the United States of America, what matters is that he identifies himself as one, which means he is willing to fight for the basic human rights of also Muslim people living in New York. You know, there's a lot that we can criticize about him as a Muslim. He went to the club to campaign. He supported a lot of groups or communities that, you living in Indonesia would never find yourself comfortable supporting. We don't have time to be divided over man-made labels. And when you raise questions like, aren't you this Muslim or aren't you that Muslim? It's very divisive in a time where we cannot afford to be divided. Because at the end of the day, again, this is New York City. It's not a country like Indonesia where kita punya ketuhanan yang Maha Esa, di mana kita punya kementerian agama. Enggak. He is representing the interests of such diverse groups, and he is fighting for the basic human rights of such diverse groups. And he promised a lot of great things for New Yorkers. Truly, for the sake of my friends who are living in New York, I wish for all of what he's promised to come true in his time as mayor of New York City.
Now, here's everything we know about what's going on in Venezuela. Yes, it's bad, and no, Congress did not approve this. Now, roughly around 1 o'clock in the morning, the U.S. released a bunch of airstrikes over Venezuela, capturing their president. Now, these images are brought to you by NPR, but you can see them across various publications across the internet. Now, prior to those airstrikes, the United States had launched a 25-page indictment accusing Nicolas Maduro, his wife, and his son of a bunch of pretty egregious stuff. From fueling local gangs in the Venezuelan area to transporting tons and tons of drugs across their border. Now, after the indictment, the airstrikes, and Nicolas Maduro was captured, a bunch of other world leaders had come together and put out statements, some prior to the airstrikes, including the Mexican president Sheinbaum. She actually put out this statement on January 1st, probably not knowing those airstrikes were coming. And in her statement, which you can pause to read, she stated that she condemned the U.S. military invading or doing anything in regards to Venezuela because it would destabilize the region, those regions being South America and the Caribbean. Now, she also made it very clear that if the U.S. did anything, they'd actually be in violation of Article 2 of the Charter of the UN. So she wanted to make that very clear that whatever the U.S. decided to do was going to be a violation of international law. But that's not all, because Congress people across the aisles have been flooding the internet with their own thoughts about what's going on. For example, AOC made a statement and said, it's not drugs, it was Trump. He wouldn't have pardoned the largest narco trafficker in the world if it was about drugs. She said it's about oil and regime change. She also goes on to say that this is just a distraction from the Epstein files and skyrocketing healthcare costs. Now, fast forward to about 30 seconds ago, Donald Trump, seen here with Marco Rubio, decided to make a statement about what's going to happen to Venezuela now that Maduro has been ousted.
We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition.
Precisely what President Sheinbaum of Mexico stated. You are going to destabilize the region. Now, in the coming days, we're going to see more coverage of Maduro because he is being indicted in New York. Now, if you want to stay up to date on this indictment, make sure you follow our page here, and you can actually read the full indictment on CNN.com. It's roughly about 25 pages, but definitely worth a read. And if I have any other updates on Maduro, that wife, and that child, I'm going to keep y'all posted.